Hi guys, I'm here again today with another layout, mixed media layout, and today I will be going with the basics of how to make a layout step by step, how to break a page basically, because when we start we all are confused where our layout is going to go. So what I did is that I took a patterned paper, like a base paper, and I distressed it from the edges, and now I'm cutting a window because this part won't be seen and it makes no sense to waste the paper. And I had another paper. This one is from 7 Dot Studio and it's called Writer's Block. I took that paper and by mistake I had actually tore it apart in two pieces. So I decided why not some add creativity to it and add it over here. So here you can see that I have already I'm going to be distressing these two sheets of paper, and I took another scrap of paper from again 7 dots and I'm adding it onto the background. So when you are doing layouts, it becomes really hard, to decide what to do and what to make it about. So what I do is I let my emotions flow. I let my mind decide what my layout is going to be about. So this one specifically, so I saw this challenge in More Than Words, and you had to have your interpretation of word comfortable. And I realized that whenever I'm alone, I'm most comfortable. And usually I lock myself in a door, and I would just think, I would let all the thoughts flow in my brain. And that's when I decided that I'm gonna be using a door, an empty door, a locked door, and I will be making a layout. I'm adding double-sided tape to attach different layers of paper. This is called score tape, and I bought it from Scorepal, I think. Yeah, and using some water, I am making the paper a little soggy so that I can curve it. And you can see there's a little empty space peeking because I cut the paper a little smaller than what it was required. So there's no harm in that because we are anyway going to cover it up with some creativity. So now again I'm adding some double-sided tape on the background, like on the back side of the paper, and I will be adding it on a thick chipboard before I start using mist and colors on it. The reason behind this is because when you add anything water-based, the shape of paper would change, the paper would shrink. Okay, so you want to make sure that it is adhered to a very strong base, so that the shape and the I don't know what is the technical term, but yeah, you guys can understand, I think, what I'm talking about, right? So this is what I'm doing. I'm just adding it on chipboard. Now I've taken the stencil, and it's a beautiful stencil with lines on it, and using a paper texture paste, this is by Finnabair Prima marketing, and a spatula, I'm adding it all around my page. And when I add my texture paste, I generally don't waste because I just take the left out and I add it on edges. In the next step, what I am doing is that I'm adding some shakers and a lot of Lindy sprays. In fact, this reminds me that I have to post this into Lindy's group because I'm basically using only Lindy spray in this layout. So here you are seeing that the beautiful texture of a stencil has started showing up, and using the spray pipe which is there inside the spray bottle, I will be sprinkling some paint around. I generally use toothbrush technique when I want to have very small dots, but if I want to have big dots which have a bigger impact visually, I would use the back of the pipe in the spray bottle. And again, I'm using shaker, using some water, I'm giving texture. Water spray bottle is very important and tissue is very important when you are making your layouts. So you'll basically see me using tissue and water everywhere, and trust me guys, with water you can actually hide your mistakes. Anything you feel that it has smudged, all you have to do is just take water, spill it over, and then take tissue and dab it. It will become automatically pretty. Now using some heavy gesso, black gesso, and a toothbrush, I will be doing some sprinkling of black paint around. I really like this step. This is like my favorite step. Toothbrush technique has been my favorite. As a kid, I was always fascinated with this. We used to make stencils by cutting paper, and we used to use toothbrush technique to make an apple. Like that was my class first or class second, grade 2 or grade 1 art project. And the next thing which I'm doing is the same thing. I'm doing it with white gesso. Now, once the layout is dry, make sure your layout is dry because you don't want to spoil your stamp. Take some stamps and give some more texture to your background with stamps. The idea is to give as much texture and make your layout very interesting. So don't worry about what you have and what you don't have. Work with whatever is there in your stash. Take any stamp. I'm pretty sure all of us have one floral stamp. Just take that and just stamp it all around the page. Automatically the composition would start look interesting. It would start look filled up. I mean, I'm not one of those who makes clean and simple stuff. I mean, I've tried it, but trust me, I cannot do it. I end up adding stuff to it, and I have got a lot of criticism on my YouTube channel also for that I use so much of stuff. But that is who I am. I like adding things. I like making my backgrounds interesting. Okay, so just add stamp, and now the next thing which I'm doing is that I want to do some heat embossing. Most of my layouts are not complete without heat embossing. So I've taken the stamp. I have very few stamps, very few stamps in comparison to flowers which I have or paints which I have. So I'm taking some Lindy's Gang embossing powder, and I'm taking my heat tool, and I will be heat embossing it. With heat embossing, the effect is amazing. I mean, the melted powder, the kind of dimension which it brings to your project is really good. So that is why I prefer heat embossing over stamping in different colors of ink. So I would use embossing ink over basically stamping ink, a regular stamping ink, just because of the dimension which I get. Once you are done heat embossing using your heat tool, let's add more texture. So I'm taking this another stamp, and this is I think a newspaper print, a very old stamp of Prima marketing, and I am just applying this stamp randomly on my page. Like literally I'm not even thinking while I'm applying it. So with mixed media, guys, just go crazy, you know. Do any kind of random stuff which you like, because in any case your result will be beautiful. Your result will be a reflection of what you are. I'm very messy and my layouts are messy because that's a reflection of who I am. And right now what I'm doing is that I've taken some chipboard pieces. Most of them are from, in fact all of them which I'm using here are from Dusty Attic. I love their chipboards. I have a huge collection of Dusty Attic which I bought over 5 years back, and I'm still using it. So what I'm doing here is that I'm heat embossing my chipboards. And why I heat emboss my chipboards is because, again, the melting effect gives a beautiful texture. It is way better than painting it. So you would see that in all my videos, most of the chipboards which I use are heat embossed. So once my chipboards are heat embossed, I decided to add some more white splatter because I felt the dark side is prevailing a little bit more, and whatever elements I'll put, they won't give a good contrast. So now you would see that I have taken out a bunch of embellishments from my stash, and what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to make a composition. So this, I agree, is a little challenging part, but eventually more and more layouts and more practice you would do, this part would become super easy. So what I do is that I usually cut my chipboard pieces, because the chipboards are really big. Like some of the Dusty Arctic chipboards are super pretty and super big, and half of it gets hidden. So what I do is that I just cut it into parts, and I use bits and bits and pieces of it all around. And I have some die cuts from very old collections of Prima. I think this one, the one which I'm using right now, is Debutant, and I think it came 1.5 years back. So I'll be using those chipboards. I have some flowers, and luckily the color theme which I'm using is going with More Than Words challenge going on currently on the blog. So what I'm doing right now is simply adding leaves and flowers and elements all around, just to give my layout a beautiful composition. This can be a little tricky, little challenging, but eventually, guys, trust me, you will get there. You will get there because all it takes is a little practice. If you would go to my blog, which is aoladiy.blogspot.com, go to the posts which I have done in 2008 and 2010. Like, there's a huge difference in the quality of work. Okay, so like they say, Rome was never built in a day. So goes with your art. It would improve every day. So keep on creating, keep on practicing. You will get there. I have still a lot of scope to improve, a lot of dreams to be fulfilled, and I think, we all will get there. So simply what I'm doing is simply I'm just composing everything with the glue and leaves and everything, and I don't think I need a voiceover at this point, so I'm gonna just increase the music volume up. Once the composition is done, to give it a little muted look, don't forget to do dry brushing technique. This was taught to me by Torsa, my very good friend, and thanks Torsa for this. Take your dry brush, take a brush, put it in gesso, then squeeze the excess in a tissue, and then just dab it. This would help in muting all the colors, and your composition would look super pretty. In the end, what I will be doing is that I love adding art stones. That's my favorite part, guys. You'll always see me using art stones. So take a 3D gloss gel and apply it all over your layout and add these art stones. These art stones are super pretty. They're the most versatile things made by Prima. I'm going to link down each and every product which I'm using here below. And use the art stones, put it all around your page. And most of the flowers, everything which I've used, I will be listing down below, so that it's easy for you guys to hunt it down. And that's it, guys. I really hope you guys have enjoyed my video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. This would help my channel to be in the YouTube watch page list, and it would help me in creating more, right? I'll be more motivated. So guys, help me if you guys like my work. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you really love me, please share this video. And thank you so much, guys, again, and I will be back soon with another video. Have a great day. Bye.